What dirty little secret do you know about someone, but they don't know you know? My neighbor is having an affair. She and her husband leave for work every morning and she comes back with another dude around lunchtime about twice a week. I don't think she knows I work from home and realizes how big their picture windows really are. Update, plus Ninja Grammar Edit, RIP my inbox and all that. This blew up way past anything I imagined and I've gotten hundreds of responses. The majority of you are suggesting I tell the husband in some anonymous way. Although there is a significant minority with good reasons to mind my own business. I do not know them at all. They don't have kids. And for all I know the guy has a cuckold fetish and he knows what's happening. I'm interested in the situation because of how divisive it is and as a morality ethics problem to consider. My friend's mother is a stuck-up, judgmental, holier than thou, preachy itch, and she has no idea that if she ever takes it too far with me I will nuke her and tell her family, community, and church about the bastard son she had as a teen that she refused to acknowledge when he found her. An individual I know is very anti-porn. Speaks out against it on Facebook. Stops talking to people if she finds out they watch it. The whole works. Doesn't stop her from watching it with her back conveniently turned to the wall. She's also not as discreet as she thinks. My brother started the fire in our backyard that destroyed half the property and my dad's whole shed full of tools. The fire was centered around the very spot my brother had been sneaking out back at night to smoke. And he would always put the cigs out on the dry pile of logs stacked right next to him. I saw him out there every night cause my window pointed to the backyard. And I was planning to use the information for leverage to get him to take me to go messed up on Halo 2 launch night. But after the fire I kept my mouth shut. I could tell he felt guilty enough about it since he spent the whole week after helping my dad clean up the damage and repaint repair what they could. I still got Halo 2 at midnight. So it had a happy ending. Had a friend middle school who legitimately had a crush on SpongeBob SquarePants. She let me use her computer a couple of times and I snooped through her it and found her stash of self-insert SpongeBob fanfiction. Found a couple of NSFW drawings as well. I couldn't really judge, I've had my fair share of animated crushes. But it was still a bizarre experience. My dad took my mom to an intimate French restaurant one year about an hour from home on a Tuesday night since it was their anniversary. In walks a married co-worker with the co-workers. Not my dad's secretary. The guy didn't see my dad but my dad was pissed. My dad would use this as a lesson to us kids. He'd tell us that you never know who sees you doing something wrong, so be honest, ethical and decent. When I was in first grade, my friend's brother in 4th grade wanted us to tie him up and embarrass him. We thought it was funny and played along. It was nothing sexual for us. But I remember his boner and wondering how it just stood up like that. But other than that, I didn't think much of that incident. Sometime during HS, I remembered all of a sudden and had a holy it moment. Now we're older and we're friends. He probably thinks that I completely forgot about that incident, or maybe he forgot himself because there's no way he could act so naturally towards me otherwise. If I tell him now, he would just die of embarrassment. My aunt had a baby boy when she was a teen. To this day, my grandparents are not aware of their first grandson's existence and still believe I am their first grandchild. The only other person she told was her sister, my mom. I only know because my mom told me. I know that one of my friends is cheating on her husbands with at least 5 other guys. One of them is her husband's best friend. She does it for attention. And to see if she is still attractive. She's 23. I know a dirty little secret about myself. That my mother doesn't know I know. When I was born, I was given up to a religious services group. But less than a month later, my mother, with the help of my grandparents, hired a lawyer and filed papers to get me back. It took a few months. My uncle, her older brother, told me this a few months ago. And I haven't brought it up with her. I don't know if I ever will. I'm not sore about it. In fact, it just goes to show that I was wanted. Even if I was an accident. The people from the service came to my mother when she was still doped up on painkillers the day of my birth. Apparently this was a common practice in the 80s and earlier. I know one of my co-workers once had a kid who died in a fire. She was really depressed and had said she'd had to repair fire damage on her house. Quick internet search revealed the tragedy. I'll never tell anyone. Don't think anyone else knows. A colleague of mine is a convicted rapist. It is an office setting. So there are lots of women around who might feel uncomfortable around him. HR knew about the rap either in his employment application or in the background check, but decided not to tell the hiring manager and blessed the hiring. A couple of folks did a search online later only to discover there was a ton of coverage in the local news about the events that led to drugging and raping a young woman. My older sister is my mother. A second cousin is my father. She gave me to her parents, who legitimately adopted me and raised me. BTW. They are awesome parents. But no one felt the need to tell me who my biological parents are. I need to edit. A second cousin of hers, not a second cousin of mine, is my father. I know that my old school teacher used to take bribes from parents to raise their children's grades. My old boss had 8 abortions, all fathered by her long-term boyfriend who has been wanting kids for years but believes he is infertile. Someone I know once went away with her boyfriend for a few months, allegedly to travel the world. I accidentally saw some documents lying around that makes me pretty sure that she was pregnant and dropping the baby off with an adoptive family. Back in the 90s, a drug dealing friend of mine offered to buy my friend and I drinks all night if we accompanied him to local roadhouse where he was supposed to meet a guy who was supposed to deliver him some speed. The guy never showed up, and my friend was furious. The absentee drug delivery guy was found stabbed to death in a ditch outside town a couple of days later. Pretty sure my friend killed him.